Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So again we have brought you the new session of Daily Current Affairs capsule, and this session has been brought to you by Himalaya IAS classes. If you want to join IAS 2021 batch or KAS exam batch in English or Kannada medium, you can visit us at www.himalayaiasclasses.com or you can reach out to us on this given number. So significant of the current affairs for all the different stages of the civil services exam. It's prelims, you have straightforward questions from current affairs. Mains, you have direct as well as indirect questions. Essay, it is very important for building your opinions. And interview, most of the questions are related to the current affairs. So what all we are going to do in this session. So basically we take a daily Hindu newspaper and we are going to tell you which articles you have to read, and then we'll tell you they belong to which part of the syllabus. Also we'll tell you some important points or facts from that article which are relevant to the exam. So first item for today's discussion is Ministry of Defense has approved the deal of 33 new fighter jets. Okay, so we all know that India and China, we are facing certain downtime in our relations. There is a hot situation on the line of actual control, and so syllabus wise it is part of the international relations. International relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So let's take a look. First thing, we all know that Defense Acquisition Council, okay, always remember DAC. It is the apex body for finalizing any defense deal. What weapons we are buying for, let it be army, for let it be navy, or let it be the air force. Defense Acquisition Council, which is chaired by the defense minister. Okay, so it is the apex body for finalizing the deals for any of this army or navy or air force. What we have bought now is 21 MiG-29 planes, okay, plus upgradation of 59 MiG-29. Okay, so this comes from Russia. We are going to buy them. We already have them as well. Plus we are going to buy 12 Sukhoi 30. Okay, so Sukhoi 30 is created by HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, with the Russian technologies transfer. Okay, so these planes will be bought and this deal has been finalized. So just like take a look at this number. That deal worth 38,900 crore. The number is not important. Please remember, Defense Acquisition Council, which is chaired by the defense minister, is the apex body for finalizing any such deal. Okay, and we are buying 21 MiG-29 fighter aircraft. Along with it, we will upgrade the existing 59 jets what we already have. Okay, and HAL will be building 12 Sukhoi 30 MKI, okay, aircraft to replace all the one which have crashed from last few years. Also, we have placed an order to buy Pinaka. Pinaka is indigenously, means developed in India, developed all-weather indirect fire free flight artillery rocket system. So Pinaka is a guiding missile system or artillery rocket system which has been indigenously developed, means totally developed in India. Okay, so it can be used to neutralize a variety of targets such as exposed enemy troops, armored soft skin vehicles, communication centers, air terminal complexes, fuel ammunition dumps. So you can leave this much all. Just remember what is Pinaka. Okay, it is a indigenously developed, okay, artillery rocket system or guided missile system. Then next part of the deal is it also includes long range land attack missile system. Okay, long range land attack missile system of over 1,000 kilometer range, and Astra. So one is LRLAMS, which can attack up to the 1,000 kilometer, plus Astra, which is a beyond visual range class of air-to-air missile for fighter aircraft designed and developed by DRDO. So this LRLAMS plus Astra both has been developed by DRDO. One is long range, another one is short range, but still beyond visual range. It will be like 100, 125 kilometers. So please remember Pinaka, MiG-29, Sukhoi being built by HAL, plus Astra, and a long range land attack missile system which is being developed by DRDO. These things we are buying to upgrade our capability. Next article today, it talks about the India's torture culture needs to end now. So syllabus wise, it is part of the polity. Again, sorry about this mistake. Polity is part of general studies paper 2 in the mains, not paper 3. Okay. So we all know that Thoothukudi incident where custodial death of 2 people has taken place. Okay. So this article basically talks about what is the main reason behind such incidents which keeps happening in India and what can be the solution for it. So we'll just take a look at those 2 things. See, the basic problem is the current laws facilitate such torture, such as through the admissibility of the confessions as evidence. So if police can, torture you and you can confess to the crime. So in that case, it's being allowed. Why it is being allowed? Because your confession, which you have made in the police station, that can be used as evidence in under some act like TADA, terrorist, and this is a preventive law, and plus the Prevention of Terrorism Act, which is known as POTA. Plus there is a MACOCA, Maharashtra Control Organized Crime Act. So all of these are preventive detention law. Under preventive detention law, these the confession made inside the police station, they can be used as a evidence. Okay, so because of which these things keeps happening and police develops a culture of torturing people inside the custody. So what can be done is a United Nations Convention Against Torture, okay, UNCAT, which India is a signatory since 1997, but have not ratified it yet. So we must ratify this and we must put in place a law which can stop these custodial tortures and the resulting deaths which is happening. Okay. Next article today talks about the core contraction or the 8 core sectors which has contracted. So syllabus wise part of the economy. Economy is the part of general studies paper 3. So there are 8 core industry. All of us know that. So output in the 8 core industries has suffered overall contraction. It means it has reduced for 3rd straight month. So see, core sectors, it contributes to almost 40% of the index of industrial production. That's one thing you must know. Second thing you must know, what are the 8 sectors and what is their relative weightage. So refinery product, it contributes the highest weightage it has, then electricity, then steel, then coal, then crude, natural gas, cement and fertilizer. Please remember these 8 sectors, and the index of 8 core industry is released by Ministry of Commerce. Please do remember that as well. Okay, so any of this can be asked in the prelims examination. Next article today talks about in an uncertain world, a seat at the global high table. So all of us know that India has become a non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council. So this article talks about some details of that. Syllabus wise, it is part of international relations. International relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So let's look at the point which can be asked in the prelims examination. So India became non-permanent member. So see, there are 5 permanent members in the UNSC, which are the permanent members: United States, Russia, Britain, and France, and China. So these are the 5 permanent members which has the veto power. Then there are 10 non-permanent members which are selected or elected from the General Assembly for 2 years. So India has become this non-permanent member. Total 15 member, 5 permanent and non-permanent. India has become the non-permanent member for 8th time. What is the tenure of a non-permanent member? The tenure is 2 years. The majority needed for anybody getting elected as a non-permanent member is 2/3. Okay. See, as of now, the article says that UNSC itself, or the world as a whole itself, it is facing unprecedented time, and India at this point of time becoming the part of UNSC when we are already facing so much of COVID crisis, plus US election is high on the agenda in the United States, which is going to influence the the upcoming future of the world. So what is the major items in front of India? First item is UNSC reform agenda. UNSC is United Nations Security Council. Reform means India wants to enlarge. See, only 5 members have the veto power. Veto power means if any one of these members do not agree to any decision taken by the United Nations, they can enforce their own will on the other person. Okay, so that's the veto power. So that, this veto power, it has to be enlarged. Everybody or more members should be getting permanent veto powers in the UNSC, or UNSC reform agenda is high. Plus T.S. Trimurti, remember this name? He has been appointed as a permanent representative of India in the UNSC. Plus one more thing which will be high in the India's agenda is going to be Comprehensive Convention on the International Terrorism. So till now, no convention on the international terrorism has been passed, India is highly, proactively supporting an international convention on the terrorism. So reform agenda plus comprehensive convention on terrorism, these two things are going to be on India's agenda. Please remember the other points as well. Then next article talks about the outbreak of other diseases. So for that, there is a government scheme or program which we must know. So syllabus wise, part of the health is part of general studies paper 2. So integrated disease surveillance program, please remember this integrated disease surveillance program, IDSP, is the backbone of India's disease monitoring network. Okay, so what it does under this program, there are different centers across the India where we keep monitoring the outbreak of various diseases. See, monsoon season is coming. So some diseases which is more communicable through water or moist air, their numbers will increase. So like that, every season has its own some set of diseases or situations. So this integrated disease surveillance program, this monitors the situation of disease in India, and it gives the, a heads up when time is there. What is happening under this surveillance program, as of now, we are seeing very less number of disease outbreak is coming in all over India. So only two reasons can be there. One, either we have neglected it due to COVID, okay, or because of the lockdown which has happened, there might be some less transmission actually. So if the second is the cause, not much to be worried. But if we are neglecting, that is not a good sign, because while fighting COVID, we cannot afford to ignore the other killers, which can again put us in the problem. So please remember this name, integrated disease surveillance program. Next article today talks about alternative medicine. Okay, so from prelims point of view, not much. You should know the alternative medicine is apart from the modern Western allopathic medicine, your Ayush therapies like Unani, homeopathy, Siddha, naturopathy, okay, or Ayurveda. These are known as alternative medicines. So prelims wise part of the science, and mains wise science is the part of general studies paper 3. The whole or the basic argument of this entire it's an interview article is that can we use traditional drugs without trial? So actually the traditional drugs can be put for human trial. Traditional means the drugs which are in use. So let us say for fever, if we have used any drug from last 100, 200, 300 years, it has been written and it has been documented. We know that traditionally, then there is no need to, start testing it from the scratch. But any drug, so this whole article is actually, if you know the Patanjali of Baba Ramdev, they have come up with the launching up of a drug which somebody proclaimed, or they proclaimed that it can cure the COVID crisis. So the scientific testing of a drug is a must, or it's a much needed process before we come up. Let it be an alternative medicine or any other thing, but we need to have a defined criteria or the measuring criteria. So any drug must not ignore, let it be from alternative medicine, the parameters on which it has to be judged by the modern medicine. So that parameter has to be the same. Ultimately, it must be there for curing some of the crisis. Okay. So not too much of the point here. Just remember alternative medicine system, your Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy, Siddha, Unani, all of these are alternative medicines, they are called. The next article today talks about the hospital cleaning staff, that okay, their conditions is not very good, syllabus wise health, or you can put it health in under general studies paper 2 of the mains. Okay, so what's in there? This article says that see these cleaning staff, or the people who clean in the hospitals, especially as we have come to know about after this COVID outbreak, that they face elevated risk of exposure to the infection, the poor working conditions, and the caste prejudice. So if you see in a lot of portions of India, mostly the cleaning staff or the sanitation department, those jobs they are given to a particular type of people, or people belonging to a particular social group or caste. Okay, so they are not even provided with the PPE or some personal protection equipment. They don't have the social security benefits. Most of these jobs are at the contract, plus they don't have any equipment, and plus they are not provided with any training. So as we are seeing, these infectious diseases or communicable diseases, they can cause a lot of problems. So first thing is, we know that how much important these people are to us. And if these people are important, then why not to take care of those people who are risking their lives to, provide safety to the whole society. Okay, so that's the basic argument of this article. So solution of this problem can be giving them social security benefits, providing them with protective equipment, plus providing them training that how to secure themselves. Okay. Next article talks about a statement from Ministry of External Affairs about FDI in the internet technology sector. So syllabus wise, it is part of the economy, and economy is the part of general studies paper 3. So FDI in the internet technology sector. See, basically this becomes a news. Why? Because we have banned some 59 Chinese apps. After that, this statement has come that India will remain open for FDI, but will enforce a regulatory system while welcoming the inflow of funds into the sector of internet technology. So for us, this is our policy line. You can use this while writing your answers, or you can use this the policy line that we are open for FDI, but we will have our own regulatory system to which every person has to adhere to. Okay. Also, this article tells one thing, which is other than this internet tech regulation, is we all know that Israel has announced plans for annexation of West Bank of Palestine. So there also India's stand is the traditional support for direct negotiation between the Israel and Palestine, and which is known as two-state solution. So 1 year UPSC simply asked two-state solution seen in news basically belongs to. So India, this is India's policy on Israel and Palestine. Please remember that we advocate the direct talk between the two parties, and there should be two-state solution. Okay. Next article today talks about the Colombo terminal and India's role in it. So Mahinda Rajapakse, okay, from Sri Lanka, he has said that no final decision on India's involvement in Colombo terminal. So syllabus wise, part of international relation, mains international relation is part of GS paper 2. So what happened, previous government has signed an agreement with India and Japan. So plus, first thing you remember, India and Japan both are involved in joint development of East Container Terminal in Colombo. Okay, see, already we know that China has developed Hambantota. That's a port in Sri Lanka, and India was offering, along with Japan, to provide assistance for the development of Colombo terminal. Okay, but now this Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is saying there is no final agreement because a lot of Sri Lankan people, they don't want anybody's or any foreign involvement in the development of such a strategic port. So just remember that from prelims point of view, that India is developing Colombo terminal, or India is at least in the process of developing Colombo terminal along with Japan, okay, in Sri Lanka. Next article talks about, just 1 second guys, yeah, next article talks about Shivalik forest. So there are attempts to turn Shivalik forest into a tiger reserve. So syllabus wise, part of the EVS, and EVS is a part of general studies paper 3. We have already seen UPSC loves to ask the new forest reserve and the new tiger reserve. So Shivalik forest, just know the location. It is located in Saharanpur. Okay, it's a district in UP. It's actually the northernmost district of UP into a tiger reserve. It will be 4th tiger reserve in UP. What are the other tiger reserves in Uttar Pradesh? Amangarh, Pilibhit and Dudhwa. These are the other 3. If this becomes, this will be the 4th one. Shivalik forest. Okay. And it will reduce the man-animal conflict, also help to nurture the rich biodiversity of the region. This forest connects 4 states. So remember that in the map. In the Saharanpur, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, this all 4 states gets connected at this forest, which is known as Shivalik forest. Can be declared as a tiger reserve. Last item today talks about the China's opposition to the UK's citizenship offer. So syllabus wise, part of the international relation. International relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So see what happens. We all know that in Hong Kong, China has passed a law as per which Chinese can make the national security law for the Hong Kong region. Hong Kong, which was earlier under UK jurisdiction, it was a British colony. It was handed over to China in 1997 with a guarantee that Beijing would preserve the city's judicial and legislative autonomy for next 50 years. Now, China, through the national security law, trying to curb the autonomy of the region. That's where London has decided to extend, or British has decided to extend a broader path to citizenship, okay, to the residents of Hong Kong. They are giving like, okay, easy citizenship for the people of Hong Kong, and that is what China is opposing. So that's the summary of the issue that you can read here. Okay, so please look at in your atlas where the Hong Kong is located. See which Indian city will be the closest to the Hong Kong. Okay. Now finally, this is the list of do's and don'ts which you can follow in order to maximize your chances of selection in the exam. And please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. And to press the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we upload any new video. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and please stay tuned for more updates. Thanks a lot.